Keep busting.
And tonight on Call 1FM, the issue is Christianity and pornography. We talk, amongst others, to Cliff Richard.
It only seems sensible to me that if I was going to inflict pain on someone because I believe they were blasphemers or whatever, then the way to do it is not to leave on their heavy red cloak, because that would absorb a lot of the lashes.
Cock naked.
Pardon?
Call 1FM.
Let's have your first record. What is it?
Hi, I'm Peter Hamill. Tonight we're looking at Christianity and pornography. What are your views? They've always been linked, but exactly how? Is the overlap increasing, or is it getting smaller? Is it a bad thing? Can Christianity exist without pornography? What do you reckon? Give us a call, 071 637 4343, when tonight we look at Christ men and porn men.
Peter Hamill, Call 1FM, Line 1, Steve, Jersey.
Hello, good evening, Peter. Right, I was very struck by the idea that Christianity could not exist, if you like, without pornography, and I have to say that I find that to be contrary to the whole basis of Christianity.
You do agree, though, that pornography feeds Christianity in some way?
Well, could you just explain why you arrive at that conclusion?
If you take somebody who doesn't know Christianity and a pornographer throws his work into the system and a Christian reacts against it, pronouncing and gesticulating their message, then the man in the middle, the person who doesn't know Christianity, may overhear the Christian and be struck for the very first time by that message.
Yes, I think you're probably right to the extent that people may say, well, why do Christians feel that pornography is so negative?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that that stranger would be more likely to encounter God if they approximated themselves to a pornographer, because nearby would be the sound of a Christian reacting.
Well, the fact that Christians often hide behind their own church walls and don't do that is just human nature. It's part of human nature.
Yes, and if you have pornography going on outside the church walls, then the Christians will get up in arms, and then people walking past will notice the Christianity more.
You need the right sort of Christian response, and very often the Christian response is not a sufficient intellectual response, if you like, to the situation that's been presented.
So it's a case of popping out from behind the church wall with an intelligent face? The face of somebody on Mastermind, or...?
Well, anybody. There's any number of newsreaders might come into that category.
Would it be like sort of Richard Baker smiling?
Yes.
Steve, thank you for your call.
Right, yeah. Many
Bye-bye.
thanks, Peter. Okay, bye.
Call 1FM. FM. 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 FM.
Next piece of music.
On Call 1FM, we're joined now by Cliff Richard. Good evening, Cliff.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm okay, thank you very much.
Great. Now, let's look at this issue, Christianity and pornography. Where do you see the two overlapping?
I've never thought of them as overlapping. You know, it's almost as though Christianity doesn't really overlap with anything. Jesus was the only one who actually enveloped everything.
Well, if he was walking around today and walked into a pawn shop, what do you think he'd do?
Well, I suppose I'd perhaps go and speak to the guys and girls who work there. But it seems to me that almost every area that deviates and stops us, moves us away from that central line that is so difficult to walk down.
It's sometimes illegal to walk down the central line.
If it's illegal, you've got to say to yourself, do I break the law?
Yep.
In a way, again, this is what makes it so difficult.
Some people have seized on the imagery of the crucifixion and said that that is basically a sadomasochistic scene of the most top rank.
Well, I think if you're going to inflict pain on people, the best way to do it is to strip them so that you get straight to the flesh. And so, therefore, it only seems sensible to me that if I was going to inflict pain on someone because I believe they were blasphemers or whatever, then the way to do it is not to leave on their heavy red cloak, because that would absorb a lot of the lashes.
Cock naked.
Pardon?
But don't you think that provides a sort of rubric for some heavy, weird, bent porn?
Yes, I mean, I suppose I can understand that someone who's heavily into flagellation, thinking how sexually wonderful it is to think of the picture of Jesus being flayed. And in fact, if that's pornographic, I would suggest that everybody reads it.
Let's have have record number 6.
I'm Peter Hamill. This is Call 1FM. The subject today, Christ and porn. If you have any views, give us a call on 071 637 4343. Bob Reed from the Church Army. Good evening to you, Bob.
Good evening, Peter. Hi.
Now, what do you make of the idea that Christianity needs pornography?
Well, God created man and woman, and I think he put in within them a love and a desire. I think pornography can degrade that rather.
Like a dipstick in an oil sump?
Yeah. We have to take moves, I think, individually, day by day, which will nurture the right relationship with God.
Yeah.
It's a sort of a vertical and a horizontal, the two, and they're very much interlinked. And
which is more important, the vertical or the horizontal, would you say?
well, I think it's probably both.
So what if somebody's gone too horizontal?
Too horizontal? Well, they may dry up. They may find life difficult.
Is the air down there worse? I mean, is it more...
I'd say go for the cleanest air, the best air.
What about if you're too vertical?
I think the ideal is to look at the balance.
Presumably the correct blend would be 45 degrees.
Yeah,
That,
looking up and looking out. Looking up and looking out.
Do you agree that the crucifixion was an S&M scene?
It's how you look at anyone, whether you see them as a man or a woman.
Or a pornograph?
It's
A porno person?
It's how you look at them.
Looking at a pornograph is very similar to the way God looks at us.
I'd say he's been around from the creation of the world right the way through to when it's going to be finished.
And he's presumably sitting up there and looking down on us like one great big porn ball. All right, Bob, well, thanks very much for your thoughts.
Peter.
We've been joined now by John Partington from the London Church of Christ. Good evening to you, John.
Good evening.
Now, what are your views on Christ and porn?
Well, we would say there's absolutely no place for pornography in our society.
Why is that?
It's a misuse of women. It's a misuse of women misusing themselves, and the other way around.
What if that were further misused by one more degree?
I'm not quite clear what you're asking.
Excellent. Now, what about the good pornographer?
What's that?
Say, a milkman who reads bad magazines.
I don't think you can justify pornography because I think there's enough evidence.
Even if it makes him better at his milk round?
Makes him better at his milk round.
He might actually be faster on his rounds with an excited mind.
But the consequences of doing that are not good.
Well, now, what about micro-pornographs?
What's that?
Well, it's a sort of pocket-sized thing. This is probably less than an inch by an inch. What do you think the most damaging effect of this micro-pornograph could be?
That it leads on. It's like a drug, it gets a hold of you.
And you might end up pushing micro-pornographs.
May do, but you will go on to do other things.
And do you say that, in fact, the smaller the pornograph, the more insidious and powerful its effect?
That's possible.
But obviously micro-pornographs can contain far more damaging images because they can't be seen readily over the shoulder.
That's correct.
All right, John, well, thanks for calling.
Thank you very much.
Cheerio.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Watch out! We better have your next record, I think.
And just checking the printers at the moment, news coming in that a miniature oil slick is threatening the Norfolk coast. Coast Guards say it's roughly the size of an aspirin and may hit Attleborough tonight. 400 scientists are standing by. Call 1FM with Peter Hamill, the subject Christianity and pornography. We've been joined by the broadcaster Don McLean. Good morning to you, Don.
Morning.
Now, what are your views basically on Christianity and pornography?
Pornography is wrong. And I think the sooner the church stands up and takes a strong stance against this, as well as all other moral issues, the better we will all feel.
Right, so how do you feel then when certain language is coined in the pornographic area and it incorporates ecclesiastical terms?
Such as?
Beating the bishop.
Beating a bishop, as far as I'm concerned, would be running faster than he did. I haven't got a clue what you're talking about, really.
Pounding the parson. You don't see any reason for replacing these terms with a term like choking the chicken?
Choking the chicken? I don't...
You obviously prefer choking the chicken to beating the bishop, then?
Well, I don't find any of those things offensive. I mean, is somebody going to come up to me and say, would you like to choke a chicken? I mean...
Basically, they're all euphemisms for self-abuse.
Oh, is it? Oh, I must be honest, I've not heard any of those expressions. I'm ever so sorry. I feel I should write you a letter of apology for wasting your time, to be honest.
I suppose that'd be nice, actually, if you could. Yes, call 1FM, care of BBC Broadcasting House.
Who's the producer?
Paul Mullins.
Paul Mullins, that's right.
If you were something like, dear Paul, sorry to waste your time.
Yeah, I'm ever so sorry. I really do apologise. I feel I've been a bit of an idiot.
Thanks, Don.
Thanks, Peter. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Exist without pornography. What do you reckon? Give us a call, 071 637 4343, when tonight we look at Christmen and porn men.
First record, what is it?
Hi, I'm Peter Hamill. Tonight we're looking at Christianity and pornography. What are your views? They've always been linked, but exactly how? Is the overlap increasing, or is it getting smaller? Is it a bad thing? Can Christianity exist? Chris.
Keep busting.
And tonight on
Femurs or whatever, then the way to do it is not to leave on their heavy red cloak, because that would absorb a lot of the lashes.
Cock naked.
Pardon?
Call 1FM.
Let's have your...
On Call 1FM, the issue is Christianity and pornography. We talk, amongst others, to Cliff Richard.
It only seems sensible to me that if I was going to inflict pain on someone because I believe they were blasphemous,